Check it out, Casper!
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Casper here, and today we're talking about unique hats in Team Fortress 2. Hats where there is literally one of this hat in the entire game. Now, I was going to do this in a sort of top 10 countdown type of thing with jokes and all editing and stuff, but I thought that some of the stories behind these hats, the explanations behind them, are so interesting that I didn't want to lose them in a myriad of bad jokes and bad everything, really. So let's just get straight in with the Dueler, the Gifting Man from a Gifting Land, and the Philateler. Now, these are three hats which are very unique in Team Fortress 2, in so much as the only way that you can get this hat is to do something on the day before. And that particular something is to either be the person who's won the most duels in a single day, the person who's given the most gifts in a single day, or the person who's bought the most map stamps in a single day. Now, many of you may remember when Muselk actually managed to get all three of these in one day. Hats off to him. No pun intended. That's a pretty damn cool thing to do. Unless you are the person who does the most of those tasks again, then you lose those hats the next day, and they go over to whoever won the most duels, whoever got the most stamps, and whoever gave the most gifts. One other cool thing about these hats before we move on is that any paint, custom description, or custom name tags that are added to these hats gets carried over to whenever they move on. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't seem to work out if there was any easy way to find whoever they belong to today. So I wasn't able to see what the current name tag situation is, but I'm sure there's been a hell of a lot of memes traded via these hats. Now, the next hat I want to talk about is probably my personal favourite, and it's called the Top Notch. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, that kind of looks like a Minecraft character. And the name Notch sounds like the guy who made Minecraft. And if you are thinking that, then you're 100% correct. Because this hat exists, again, only one in the entire game, and it belongs, of course, to Notch, the creator of Minecraft. And the story behind this hat is so cool, because Notch complained on Twitter that nobody believed he was who he is when he's playing Team Fortress 2. And ultimately, Valve got wind of this, and they did create a hat just for him, and gave it to him. So if you ever see this hat in game, and you're not in some heavily modded trade server or something, then you are literally playing with the one and only Notch, creator of Minecraft. Although this did all transpire back in 2011. And whether he does still play the game in between bouts of swimming in lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of money is anybody's guess. So next up, we've got another group of three hats which are all obtained in a similar way. We've got Amber's Radder's Hell Hat, J-Axe's Dapper Topper, and the Uncle Sam. Now, you may recognise these as they look a hell of a lot like other hats. For example, the Modest Piler hat, the Towering Pillar of Hats, and the Noble Amassment of Hats. But they've got one unique feature, a 1, a 2, and a 3 ribbon, which represents how these people performed in a really early Team Fortress 2 contest called the Propaganda Contest. And as you can imagine, the 1, 2, and 3 shows where that person placed in the contest. So the Propaganda Contest was back when one of the original Team Fortress wars happened between the Soldier and the Demo Man, and essentially the contest was to create a sort of propaganda poster for whichever side you wanted. And here's the winners here in order, first, second, third, and the hats which the person won as a result. So well done to these guys. Again, this happened quite a long time ago, back in 2010. Got no idea if any of these guys still play the game, but props to them for having a unique item. Now, I wasn't sure whether to include these following hats in the game, because I don't think they qualify as a one-of-a-kind item, because as far as I could tell, they are zero of a kind. I don't believe that anyone has the Clockwerk's Helm, the Snipin Glass, or the Storm Spirit's Jolly Hat. Now, all of these items were given to the winners of the Dota 2 International Championship Gamescom 2011. Now, the more astute of you might be aware that Dota 2 didn't actually launch until 2013. So this is a really early version of the game, and I don't know much about the teams who played it at the time, but I did try and look for their backpacks, and either they've never launched TF2 since being given to this hat, so it's not showing in their backpacks, or for whatever reason, they never got this item. Or, of course, I just couldn't find the correct profiles. Now, if anybody can prove that these hats exist in the game, I would love to see that, because all the TF2 stats websites come up with nothing. So I don't think these are one-of-a-kind hats. I think they literally are in the game, but nobody owns them. If anybody manages to find a supreme game-breaking bug in TF2 and Valve decides to award that person a hat, can you please ask for one of these hats? Because I would love to actually see them in game. So we've talked about a few one-of-a-kind hats there, and maybe some even zero-of-a-kind hats. But there's also one or two weapons, and you'll understand why I say maybe in just a moment. But one weapon which is definitely one-of-a-kind or near enough is the Valve rocket launcher. Now this is a rocket launcher which Robin Walker, a developer who used to work heavily on Team Fortress 2, has used to play the game with. And here are the stats, and these are not a joke. These are the actual stats of the rocket launcher, and here's a little video clip of it in action. As you can see, it's pretty ridiculous. Now, as this is called the Valve rocket launcher, I'm not 100% sure whether other developers have like a Valve grenade launcher, for example. I'm sure there's a couple of you guys out there who will be able to confirm that for me. But they are pretty one-of-a-kind, pretty unique, but at the end of the day, based on the amount of developers we know work on TF2, there's not going to be more than 5 or 6 of these types of weapons in the game. And the last thing I want to mention, and this is the maybe, because I can't work out whether this actually exists in the game, or whether it's just a joke that's built into the TF2 items website, because it's the vintage banhammer. And you can see it here, and the only backpack it belongs in is Gabe Newell's himself's backpack. And as you can see from this blue message here, the backpack is actually private. So the data we're looking at is legacy data. We can't actually see if this is still in Gabe's backpack. But anyway, the item is a joke. The joke was that he could hit someone with the ban hammer in the game and it would immediately ban them from Team Fortress 2, which is both hilarious and terrifying at the same time. One of the cool things about this is that it's also level 9001, which of course is over 9000. As I said, I'm not 100% sure whether this is just a joke built into the website, or if it actually is an item which exists. Of course, it wouldn't ban you when you're hit by it, but it would be cool just to see someone wielding it. And of course, if you did see someone wielding it, you'd know that it was Gabe Newell. So that wraps up all the one-of-a-kind, zero-of-a-kind, and maybe not actually any-of-a-kind hats and weapons that I'm aware of in Team Fortress 2, with some cool stories behind them. In doing the research for this video, I also came across quite a few really rare, unobtainable hats, which I thought were really interesting. So I might actually talk about those in another video. Maybe that will be a bit more of a top 10 countdowny video. Who knows? But I hope you guys found this interesting as I did. And again, as I said, if you've got any information about those Dota 2 hats, please let me know, because I really want to see those. So thanks everyone for watching. Here's a couple of other videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks and goodbye.
Told me that I'm special.